So we're in the depths of winter, and we actually had snow in Cornwall, which is really unusual today. It was as if someone had got a sieve with some icing sugar and just kind of chucked it over the grass, and within about 10 seconds it was all gone. But I still felt excited, just for a moment. But in the depths of winter, this is when we're supposed to be resting. You know, some people think we should be hibernating. I'm probably with them there. And if this is the first time you've been to this constructive rest, this one is going to be even more still and quiet than in any other time of the year. Because this is our chance to allow ourselves to find that stillness that does reside within us. Everything about the energy of life at the moment, you know, ignoring all things that go on in cities, natural world, I should say, is about stillness and quiet. We are quite literally the seeds being planted, hiding within the soil, waiting for the emerging. And that's what we're going to sort of emulate this evening. So I'd like you, when you're ready, to get into semi-supine position. And I think you probably all know exactly what that is, but I'll just explain briefly that you're lying on your back on a firmish surface, if that's possible. Not everyone I know this evening can get on the floor until quite yet, still repairing. So lying on the floor or a firm surface, but with something under you that's comfortable, you know, like a mat or a really nice fluffy rug. I would also suggest that under your head you have something firm. I know cushions are very popular, but there is something useful about a firmer thing. We tend to use soft back books in the world of Alexander Technique, and if it's too firm, then a folded blanket on top of your folded towel or something on top of those books. And your knees are bent and your feet are on the ground. Again, not too tucked in towards you. Have some space under those knees so that you're not tightening and gripping under the knees. So I think actually everyone here has done a bit of this before. And so your bodies are already probably dropping down into that stillness, that quiet place. Tension drifting away. And we could just lie here and, you know, do nothing and think nothing and breathe, and that would be lovely for the body, your mind, everything would enjoy that. But what we're going to add on is a bit of thinking. And it's this very specific way of thinking. It's our directed thinking, where we're giving intention and direction to the body, what we want from it. And what we want from it is some space. We want depth and width and length to return to us, sort of an internal length. And this time of year, often because it's cold, we feel the need to draw inwards and tighten and grip. We can find that when we lie down on the floor, the shoulders are pulled up away from the floor. And if that's the case for you, I would just suggest that you softly, gently, kindly ask the chest muscles to relax a little bit. Something around the front of your neck to let go. Perhaps the jaw even softly resting. The tongue within your mouth, even that resting. And as you're allowing the neck to release, because that's the base of your neck, isn't it? The shoulders. And you can ask for more of your neck to release. You could ask the back of the neck to soften, the sides of the neck. If you ungrip and give up holding all around this area, the very tops of your shoulders, the base of your neck, you might find that your head rests a little bit more onto the firm surface, the books or block that you've chosen. Give up holding your neck, your shoulders. Allow the ground beneath you to support your head. Think about the very top of your spine that goes up into your skull, sort of level with the bottom of your ears, really. See how far you can take your mind within yourself in this moment, just here, just now. Give yourself the intention of ease. Ease within the top of your spine. Ease through the front of your neck. Sometimes as we let go through the neck, the head physically moves. It sort of finds itself a new balance, a new position to rest in. If that's the case, then allow that, but don't force it. As we release the neck and the head finds its balance, that allows our back to lengthen. And this time of year, in the depths of winter, when the trees are all bare and you can see the skeleton of the branches, it reminds me that you can get in touch a little bit with the skeleton of our own body. You might find there's a connection to your own spine that deepens this time of year, that you can kind of get your mind in there. And if you can, I'd like you to think of the front of your spine rather than the back. And as you're connecting through to the front of the spine, allow it to lengthen, not because you're forcing it, but because you're not hanging on. You're not hanging on through your abdominal area, through your belly. You're not hanging on through your lower back. Your intention is to allow the back to lengthen, to widen. Become aware of the tops of your thighs up close to where your hips are. See if you can send a message to the tops of your thighs, close to your hips, the fronts, the backs, the sides, the inner, the outer. See if you can ask them to release a little bit, a sort of letting go, a loosening off of the muscle and the connective tissue around there. Encouraging or allowing the heads of your thigh bones to drop back into your hip sockets. Because in the summer we want to release outwards and become dynamic, and we're all very open and outward thinking and moving. And in the winter we want to go inwards, but that doesn't mean we need to tighten. We can release inwards. You can release your inner thighs and allow the thighs to lengthen back into the hip sockets, back in towards you. You can connect with your feet planted on the ground, the left one and the right one. And think your way up through the shin bones, back up towards your knees. If you can, I'd like you to imagine where your tailbone is, your coccyx, the very tip of it, the very end of it. And often we think about this lengthening off, sort of down towards your feet. But I'd like you to just know where the end of your tailbone is. And think your way up through the front of your spine from that tailbone. As if you were taking a journey, undulating your way through your spine. Thinking your way up through the front of your spine, passing that lumbar curve, that lovely lumbar curve that supports us so well. Almost sweeping out any debris or tension that would lie there. Continue to think your way up through the front of your spine, deep within your body, where the lumbar curve meets the thoracic spine, that part of your spine that the ribs hang off. Think your way up into your chest cavity, all the way up towards your cervical spine, the base of your neck again. Think your way through your neck, up into your head. And again, ask for something to release. An imperceptible nod through the head. An ungripping through the base of the back of the skull. A widening, perhaps, from ear to ear, like a broad smile. Smiling because you get to lie on the floor of a Thursday evening, and isn't that a delight? Let your shoulder girdle just rest back onto the ground. You don't need to hold it. The floor is supporting it. Find the fronts of your armpits and check in with them, that they're not hanging on in a sneaky, grippy kind of way. Notice the weight of your own arms, whether they're on your body or lying by your side. Notice the weight of them all the way through to the fingertips. Think your way back from your fingertips to your elbows. A sort of a sweeping, a directing, a thinking. Let the elbows rest. Think your way back from your elbows up through to the tops of your arms. Releasing and ungripping around the armpits, the upper arm bones. From the tops of your arms, sweep your thoughts along the tops of your shoulders and up into your neck. Somewhere to the back of your ears is a good place to think. And ask again for that release somewhere at the top of your spine, inside your head. That imperceptible nod, that softening of the tongue, releasing of the jaw. Free your neck. Allow the head to re-establish its balance on top of the spine, whilst resting back onto the books behind you. In this deep silence that's resting within your body, you'll find an easy breathing human being. Allow them to be. Allow the muscles of your back to soften into length and width. So those ribs can freely move, expanding and releasing with each breath. Notice the freedom down the side of your body. the left side and the right side. As you allow yourself just to breathe. On your next out breath, imagine the breath sweeping up the front of your spine, all the way up to the top of the spine, to your nose and out through your nose. On your next in-breath, allow the air to move down through and into your lungs, into the depths of you, encouraging your back to widen, your ribs to be free, expanded and released. And on the out breath, let that air come traveling up through the front of the spine, all the way up to your nose and out your nose. Don't do anything peculiar with your breath, just watch it in this way. Doesn't need to be deeper than usual or longer breaths or anything like that. We're just following it with some intention, some ungripping in the ribs, and some flowful thought through the front of the body. Let that practice drift away and think of other things. Your feet, your left foot and your right foot resting on the ground. Allowing the muscles around the ankles and feet to soften, to lengthen, to widen. Thinking long through the calves, down through the Achilles, at the back of your ankles, down into the heel. As if you're giving up the hanging on, the holding through the lower legs. This time of year, we've often got our boots on and our shoes on, or big slippers. And the toes aren't quite as free as they'd like to be. Pay some attention to your toes. Send some energy through them, lengthening thoughts, intentions. Reminding them that they're allowed to have space between them, between the little toe and the toe next to it, the one after that, the next one, and then the big toe. I think that was all the toe. Allowing the base of the toes to broaden. And then directing or thinking the big chunky heel bones back away from those lengthening, widening fronts of feet. Creating tone and connection into the ground. Find the fronts of your ankles with your mind. Imagine that they're softly lengthening and widening, sort of an opening up. And that as they release and open up, there's a flow of direction that can shoot up the fronts of your shin bones. Almost as if that's an impetus for the knees to release up towards the ceiling. Knees forwards, spiraling away from each other, just in your thoughts. Come back to your free neck. How does it feel? Can you think of under your chin releasing, softening through the front of the neck, down through to the collarbones? Allowing the tops of your arms enough space so that your shoulders can widen and your arms can release. Allow your head to rest on your books. Feel that support coming up from beneath you, under your heavy skull, your strong shoulders, powerful pelvis, and connected feet. Feel the support of the floor and do nothing. Allow the support and the stillness to envelop you. Like a big, wintry, snuggly blanket. Soften your belly. Allow the front of your body to soften into length and width, as well as the back. If your legs are tired and they've had enough of being parallel in this semi-supine position, you could either let your knees fall inwards and rest on each other, or you could slowly, one by one, stretch out your legs to make yourself fully supine. Sometimes it's nice, it gives everything a bit of a change, a bit of a mix-up. Although there's more of a risk, of course, of falling asleep. Feel the support of the ground beneath you again. And ask one last time for that soft length and width through the front of the body. As if from the front of the pelvis, the tops of your thighs, there's a smooth, relaxing upwards that comes through the front of the body, the muscles, over the abdomen, over the ribs, the chest, all the way up through your neck, under the chin and to the jaw. Allow the head its balance on top of the spine. Don't hang on to your ears or the base of the skull. And breathe. Let your back breathe, your sides and your front. Allow the gentle movement through the entire rib cage, the back, the front, the sides. As you softly allow the air to come in and the air to move out. Know that your heavy head is supported as it rests on the books. And without doing anything, no muscular activity required. Think about this vast distance between your heavy head and your resting feet. Allow yourself to relax into that length, to almost stretch into it like a cat. An involuntary undoing through the musculature, lengthening through the back muscles, the leg muscles. Softly resting. You might like to carry on your resting. You might want to stay there for a bit longer. But if you feel that you've had enough time on the floor, and I am certainly going to be stopping in a few minutes, you'll want to start to think about the movement of the body before you actually move it. A little bit of movement through the legs, sort of rocking if you're still in semi-supine, or just sort of rolling the legs if you're fully supine. A gentle movement through the arms, the upper back, the shoulders. A decision whether you're going to roll on your left side or your right side to come up, and informing your body of what you're going to do before you do it. Taking your time is the gift that you can give yourself. Look after yourself. Stay cozy and warm. Bye for now.